All right, Crystal and Jason. Where are you guys from originally?
I was born and raised in Redondo Beach.
I was born in Torrance.
So both South Bay,
Yeah.
suburbs south of LA.
Yeah.
And tell me about how you guys grew up. Crystal, you had your mom and dad?
My parents got divorced when I was 5, and then I lived with my mom in Hawthorne for most of the week, and then I saw my dad every other weekend. I guess when I was a kid. I don't know how to.
How would you describe your childhood?
My mom was a tweaker, I guess, and so like when me and my sister were with my mom, we kind of like got to experience like both sides of things. Cause like my mom like literally did drugs all the time. Then when we go visit my dad, like he lived in Manhattan Beach in like a nice house, and like there was always food and stuff. But my parents like to argue a lot, and my mom always had like different friends over, and I don't know.
Any crazy things that went on in your childhood? Any abuse, anything like that?
Not.
If you're not comfortable talking about it, you don't have to.
Yeah, I don't know what to say.
It's okay. It's okay. Jason, you had mom and dad growing up?
Yeah, my dad died when I was 7.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, he went to jail like right after I was born, and then got out in like '87 or something like that. So he was in jail for like 7 years, and then he ended up getting killed by Torrance PD.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, it was shot over on Anza. I saw it, but like blanked it out most of my life, I guess. And like,
You saw your dad get killed?
yeah, but like they like sent me to like therapy and shit, so like I ended up like blanking it out, and then like years later, like kind of finally came to like fruition in my brain or whatever, and like seeing it, like so I like kind of like blanked it out, I guess. And my mom actually lied to me about it. My mom told me like even though I saw it, my mom told me that he got hit by a car, and when I actually found out about it was at like a high school party. Someone that like had grew up, someone's like that was that I went to high school with. His stepdad was like him and my dad, I guess, were like mortal enemies or some shit, you know, and like he's the one that actually said something like kind of like out of spite, told me like you know, some shit, and that's how I came to find out about it. And then after that, but yeah, after my dad, I mean, I was raised by my mom, but like same thing. My mom was like a drug addict, you know, sold drugs, shit like that.
Wow. Similar stories, but different types of dads.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
We could have met each other, but I'm like 10 years younger than he is. So if we did, I don't even think he would like recognize me or remember anything. But our moms like were like kind of like the same group of people.
right. And what,
So sweet.
you guys both graduated high school?
I graduated in '98.
I didn't. I ended up getting sent away to like boarding schools and stuff when I was 15. From the time I was 15 till I was 18. When I got out, I didn't finish college, and then I went and got my GED back in 2010.
And drug use started for you guys at what age?
On an everyday basis, like Crystal, like 13, probably 14, and like Crystal Coke, and I started smoking weed when I was like 11, 12, but like Coke, speed, crack here and there a little bit, and then but like opiates like heroin and shit like that, and pills like probably like 16, 17.
What are you using now?
Heroin, fentanyl, and crystal.
Crystal, is that what you're using as well?
Yeah, and I started when I was probably 13, and then I got sent away to boarding school in Utah when I was 15. So stopped using, and then when I got out, I started using again, and then I started using heroin, I think when I was 20, and I'm 30 now, so.
Do you feel like the environment that you guys grew up around, like your moms that were both addicts, kind of left the door open for you guys to do the same?
A little bit. You know what I mean? Everyone makes their own decisions, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but it was around the house. So
Yeah.
you saw it, at least in your family.
Yeah, I think so. My mom didn't really try to like hide the fact that she was using drugs, and I don't think she did it like to try to like set me up for failure, but
No, I don't think so.
you know, I think that at the time she had maybe thought that like it was the right answer and helping her in some sense. Maybe that's where she was at in her addiction. I don't know, but she didn't really hide the fact that she was using.
Yeah. So you guys are living where now?
Here and there, everywhere.
Yeah,
I mean,
just-
hotels when we can afford it, and then every once in a while, like a couple times we've had a spot like a nice tent, you know, like a 10, 12-man tent. We've kept it for like a good amount of time, like 3 or 4 months, you know, and then like we lost our last tent because of some weird ass shit. Like we were out like trying to make money and shit, and we came back to our spot, and there was this black dude that was there. I was all shermed out, and just decided he was going to take over our spot and take all of our shit. And when she went back to our spot before me, and like she came running up to me saying, "Hey, did you see that guy in our tent?" And I was like, "No, what are you talking about?" And I was like, "Telling this guy," and he comes walking up, and he's like, "Yeah, that's all my shit. You guys get the hell out." And we ended up going back and forth in it, and he ended up busting me in the face with a baseball bat, and I was like damn near knocked out, and he threatened. He said he was for fun, he was gonna rape her and break her jaw. And I chased after him, and I got a hold of a hammer, and I split the back of his head open with the hammer.
He didn't fall down or anything.
Guy didn't fall. Didn't even phase him. Because he was so shermed out.
Oh,
I didn't even think
friend-
I thought I missed maybe or something. I'm like, did I miss? And then when he turned around to bail,
Our friend
we saw him.
finally showed up with like a machete and stuff, and he finally took off, and that's when we saw like the back of his head.
Yeah. And I mean, we had lately. Like, you see the scar on my face right here.
yeah.
Some dude. I came out of the Goodwill on 6th Street, right?
Yeah,
6th and like Burlington or whatever, right there. And
some black
dude
guy
was like
said-
pounding her in the face.
some black guy was really like disrespectful to me, so I stopped to like say something to him, and he like punched me in the face. Like,
So like I
I
ran
was
up on
close
him and I
enough.
socked him and I dropped him one hit, knocked him, and when I went to him again, he pulled a fucking big ass knife and he slashed me like right here. He went for my neck, but I kind of like.
he said he didn't want to go to the hospital. I was like, but I can see your teeth. I think he had 82 stitches.
Yeah, I'm not going to the hospital. We're going to pick up right now. And I was like I felt like something like flap right here. I went like this. I went, oh shit, we gotta go to the hospital. I can see my teeth.
And I was like, really?
Wow.
And then this happened like right in front of the police station. And
That was the
he
funniest
ended
part.
up
It happened
calling the
directly in front of
cops.
the police station.
The black dude ended up calling the cops. I mean, they didn't show up or anything, but he called the cops afterwards.
That was like
saying
about a
that
month ago, a month
we
and a half ago.
assaulted him. Yeah, he was telling them that we assaulted him or something. I don't know.
You've been living on Skid Row?
No, it was actually by MacArthur Park.
MacArthur Park. Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right down on 6th Street.
Same
I
stuff.
think the
happens there.
cops even like drove by. Actually.
Yeah, the cops did drive by.
And they were like, don't jaywalk. And I was like, are you kidding?
That's what they said to us. We were like, I was like stumbling across the street to the hospital, and they actually yelled out the window, "Don't jaywalk."
I was like, do you know how to see?
I'm like
this
pouring blood on my face.
And do you have either of you have kids?
Yeah, I have a 11-year-old son. I haven't seen since I finished a prison term back in 2017. I saw him last time I saw him was 2015, and I finished prison term in 2017. And my ex-wife has kind of kept it because of like drugs and the environment that drugs create.
you're not
She's like got
welcome
a
anymore?
restraining order. Yeah.
I have a daughter, and I have a son. My daughter lives in New Mexico with her dad, and she's 11. And then I have he's gonna be 3 this year. I have a son who got adopted by his foster family in Arizona.
Who's going to be 30 this year?
Oh, he's gonna be 3.
3. Okay.
Yeah.
I was going to say something doesn't make sense.
No, yeah, no, he's gonna be 3. It was a long story, but he's in Arizona. My mom and my grandma had him, and then my grandma has cancer, and they found out. I guess they signed him over to CPS, so they still see him and stuff. So he's doing okay.
What emotions do you guys deal with living like this lifestyle? Do you get depressed or
I don't think
angry?
we have a whole lot of time, like, to really sit and, like, think about things like that. I think that's why, like, we do drugs, or at least it gives us something else to do and focus on, maybe.
Right.
Yeah.
So you don't have to feel.
Yeah, because it's like an everyday, hustle and struggle. I guess you call it, like getting money, going and pick up, keeping her safe, and it's like and it's not the hardest thing to do in the world, but it's especially when it gets late at night, and sometimes we don't, like right now we don't have a tent or anything, so like if I haven't hustled up enough money to like get us a hotel room, like it's I gotta like stay up. Like if one of us falls asleep, the other one has to stay awake, trying to, because we both fall asleep. You wake up with your goddamn shoes gone sometimes and shit,
Yeah. Does being a couple make it harder or easier to live?
I think easier.
I think it makes it easier, because I know before I met
We met
him,
down here
How long you been together?
about a year and a half.
when I met him, my ex was in jail, and I had been out here by myself for quite a few months, actually. And it's a lot harder by yourself, at least for like a female.
Especially for a female, I would think.
Yeah, a lot harder.
You've mentioned a little bit about your families. Do you still have contact with your families?
My mom and my grandma, yeah, I don't really talk to them much, just because, like, I'm, like, using drugs, and I know my grandma's, like, stressed out, and I don't always have a phone. But my dad, I haven't talked to him in a few years, actually. And my sisters actually sent me a message. Last time I checked my Facebook, my younger sister sent me a message wondering like what was going on. I guess since I didn't answer, she was, I'm not a little kid anymore. She wanted to, I haven't had a phone,
And Jason, do you still?
No, hardly ever. Like
his mom had somebody tell him that her friend tell him that she died and like faked a death certificate.
Yeah, she like completely fake, like she was like dead, and like she had cancer. I mean, me and my mom don't really get along, but like she's a tough old bitch. She's had cancer 3 or 4 times and beat it every time.
Wow.
And she just,
He thought she was dead.
I thought she was dead for like 6 or 7 months, and I called up one of my friends to. I don't remember what the hell I was calling him for, but I said something to him about it, and he's like, "What are you talking about? Your mom's not dead." And then he's like, "She still has cancer." I think,
I just had lunch with her yesterday.
Yeah, I just had lunch with her yesterday, or the day before, and I was like, "The fuck are you talking about?" And I was like, so I called up, and like, I called the person that told me she was dead, and no answer. And me and mom just didn't really get along. You know what I mean? Like we argued constantly and shit. Like. Both like two, like I guess what you call it something personalities. Like we were always butting heads.
Yeah. So is there a chance you guys might get pregnant and have a kid?
Not right now.
No, it'd be too hard right now. Maybe sometime down the
But
line.
are you doing something to prevent that?
Yeah, are you?
I mean, no, it's not something I really think about.
Okay. What are you afraid of? What do you worry about?
Me right now, the only thing I'm afraid of is like losing her.
Same thing, like, I guess the only thing that scared me is he like overdosed one time. And like turned blue and stuff. I had to give him Narcan.
Yeah, she told me about it. Like, I actually remember that. Like, she's actually Narcan me a few times, and the times before I thought I didn't need to be Narcan because you probably don't know anything about it, but like being Narcan's a son of a bitch.
It's the worst feeling ever.
It's the worst feeling. Like, one, for a person that's like does drugs wants to get high, like it completely sobers you the fuck up, like 100%. Like, and you can't get high after.
Everything becomes really
for how
real.
long?
For about probably a day and a half. Like it has like opiate blockers and all that shit in it, and then it like just
Makes you really
completely
sick.
flips your whole system upside down. Like everything doesn't seem real. Everything seems surreal around you. Like
Yeah.
everything kind of seems staged.
You're
and, like,
really sick.
and you get really but the three times that she Narcan me before that, like I think I was just like really high.
He hadn't turned blue.
But this time, like I turned, but I remember like her, like I remember my chest like seizing. I can remember my heart like stopping. Like I could feel it, like in my like I could feel my chest like tighten up. And I remember her on the top of me, like banging me in the face, like, "Don't do this, you son of a bitch!" And I remember like everything just going black.
His pants and
And the next thing I remember is my balls being like frozen ice cold. And I woke up and she had like 5 pounds of ice down my pants. And I was like,
He's like, "You bitch."
and I was like, "What the hell did you do to me, you bitch?"
Do you guys have hopes of getting your lives together, getting clean, all that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we've talked about like what are the better ways of doing it. Like, I have an aunt that's about the only family member that I get along with left in my whole family. She's out in Vegas, and her and her husband do like really well for themselves. Like, there's a restaurant called Texas Lucy's. And there's one in Torrance that I know about, one in Jamaica. There's a few other ones. Him and his brother are the ones that started that chain of restaurants, and so and then she has her own company now, and they do really well. And then she has an aunt that's like uber rich, like really rich. Like she has an aunt that's worth like hundreds of millions.
No, but
We've been talking about going to the methadone clinic finally, and it's not like sober, but like it's like definitely gives you something else.
I have
to do
reservations
without
because I
being
got
high
her
all the
off
time.
methadone when I first got together, and like to me, methadone is even worse than the goddamn heroin. You know.
I think it's a trade-off. If you do methadone, you're not having to worry about like making money and picking up and getting high all day. Like you go once and you take your dose and you can do whatever you want throughout the rest of the day. It's not like your only focus. Your only goal is survival. That's the way I see it. You get sick when you come off of it, but it's like kind of like a trade-off, right? Because you either spend your whole life like trying to get drugs, you know, or you take methadone and you can like live your life a little bit more, but then know that you're gonna get sick when you come off of it. Either way.
what would you say is the most important thing in your lives?
Right now, her, like each other,
Our dog.
her dog.
Yeah.
Cause I actually got her. This is the second dog. I actually, he found us, but about 6 months ago, I got her a dog and paid for it. It was a half pit bull, half German Shepherd.
She's like to try to kill me though.
Yeah,
I
but
think.
the dog, they had a love-hate relationship. The dog like loved her but hated her. Like they like fought all the time. She bit the crap out of her a couple of times, but someone actually stole the dog. Like I had him tied up right outside our tent, and someone just cut the leash and took him. Sucked.
But
To
buddies
her.
is different. Sure.
All right. Well, Crystal and Jason, thank you so much for sharing your stories.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wish you guys the best of luck out there.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.